Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Talk2Rami show. This is Rami, your host. We are getting very close to the end of the year, and I have decided to bring a great friend, entrepreneur, coach, and very soon published author Andy O'Brien to the studio. He's here, guys. We're going to talk about the business planning, personal planning for the next year, and a lot of other stuff that right now is going on. Andy, welcome back, buddy.
Oh man, thanks for having me on your show.
Oh, I
this
love
is
it.
fun.
I
This
love
is
it.
fun.
You know, off camera, we talk about what's going on right now in the world with all the chaos is happening and everybody's freaking out for the war, economy, name it, gas prices. We're getting hit from all sides. And let me tell you, we have two different kind of people here. One, they said, I'm going to deal with it next year. And some, they're going to say, I want to start planning it for next year. Which one you agree with?
I agree with now.
Just do it now.
Yeah, this waiting for next year bullshit. These people, look, it's so interesting. So I agree with we plan now. Right now, if you're in the fourth quarter, you're planning for the end of your year. If you haven't hit your goals, or even if you have, you are starting the planning process for moving forward. That's the catalyst. You've always got to be looking forward. It's interesting. Over the last 6 to 8 weeks, my partners and I, we've been reaching out to past clients, past members, past people who we've done business with over the last 13, 14 years. And astonishingly enough this year, we have reached out to, let's say, 100 different businesses on some level. And we know that over 10% of them are no longer in business. And we know that 20% of them are in such a financial pickle that we don't know if they're still going to be in business next year. And of course, pride, we all have that. So, there's a reason that the top 3% of the world's wealth is in people that write business plans.
This is, I think, as you said, is a pride, but I think we have this problem right now that is going on. People, they are not asking for help.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, I think this is huge right now. And I had a podcast yesterday, I was talking, and I said, if we can learn how to ask for help and the feedback and be willing to get that feedback and create something positive out of it, we would not be in the same situation.
Absolutely. I met with the business owner Monday or Tuesday, and literally he wants to do something, but he's going to wait till next March. And unfortunately, in my line of work, my question is, well, looking at your financial status and looking at your business model, will you even be in business in 6 months? Nobody
you
likes
got
to
to do something now.
You have to do something now. Planning is essential. A year ago, we went into the same time of the year, so we preached the same things every year. Perfect preparation of planning allows you to move your business forward. Doing nothing, and I've always done it this way, doesn't work anymore. When you look at the economic indicators that are starting to hit everybody now, you talked about fuel. We have two major wars going on. We have economic indicators, and you guys can chalk it up to whatever you want, but inflationary effects in different industries are really slowing down. Look at the housing industry. I talked to a guy yesterday in the title business. They laid off 25 people.
Really?
Yeah, it's the interest rates went up, the housing market went to shit. Right?
Interest rate right now is 8, 7, something like that?
Yeah, 9,
7?
9.25, something like that.
Wow.
It's money's expensive right now. And if you take that, and people are like, well, look at the construction going on. Yeah, but you also look at, these are large construction companies. They're putting in multifamily. They're doing housing developments. But if you actually step back to business owners who are in the construction trades, they're the ones, homeowners are like, well, I really don't, I want to do a remodel, but do I really want to do a remodel? Do I want to hire a plumber? Do I want to hire an electrician? They're all taking a secondary look at it because they're like, do we put it in the house? Now, we all know, we all own homes, or we do. You and I, our teams, we own homes, so we know that's a great investment, right? Updates on the home, but smart updates. So
it's not the time to just spend $100,000 to the remodeling of your house.
No, because the money's too expensive.
Yep.
You can't, let's refinance. I'm at 3%. Oh my God, now it's 9%? No, nobody's like, yeah, we're not doing that. Or do I get a home equity loan? Well, those are still expensive. So that's just one area that we're starting to see a massive slowdown in bids, in calls for requests for service and things like that. So,
but right now we're getting to the end of the year, and what people, business people, even individual for their own personal life, where do they have to start? Where do they have to start? What phase? Because some people, they really don't know. I know so many people, they don't. What are you talking about? What do I have to do? Where do I have to start? Planning to plan out what? Financial, personal, your health, your life, your relationship, everything.
Answer's yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so specifically, right now we have historical markers, right? We know what we've done this year. So in our planning process, we know that it takes business owners, human beings, at least 2 years to become proficient at projections in budgetary areas, right? To make a projection of what our sales are going to be, how's marketing going to work. We know it's going to take them about 2 years, but the way we start is we look at the history of the previous year, right? So right now, everybody has a 10-month history lesson of every expense, every sale, cost of goods sold, labor expense, insurance, you name it. We have a 10-month history. The idea is to take that and carry it forward. All right, so if I'm building a budget for 2024 and I just straight up just take everything that I just did this year and I put it into a budget, that's a great place to start. That's a great place to go, okay, what do I need to do? Because it's so interesting to the planning process. A lot of people in their business right now are, and I shouldn't say a lot, I should just say there are many that are in a position where they don't know how to read their financials, so they're unable to make calculated risks based on the knowledge of their financials. So by working backwards, you can say, okay, for next year in January, because remember, we're not even 60 days from January 1. So we're
right there.
Yeah, we're right there. So we know that they've got to start planning for January, right?
And usually in December 10, 15, everything slows down.
It does. In our business, it picks up about that time.
Really?
Yeah, because people figured out they were looking for some guidance. They've plateaued.
Oh, I'm running out of time. Now what do I have to do?
Yeah,
I'm going to close the books.
Right? It's a crash course, right? So, yeah, we love this time of the year to be able to help guide people and ask them to be collaborative in their business. But you got to start somewhere. You have to start looking at it. So it's so funny. People are like, well, we just got to sell more. Great. What's the plan?
Yeah, I heard that a lot. Yeah, I'm going to start selling more.
Great.
This is what people are saying. Yeah, how?
Okay. What are you going to sell? How much more are you going to sell? Now, let me ask, and then okay, are you going to sell more, or are you going to sell more to have more profit? People look at selling more and in turning dollars, right? If you sell $100 and you spend $100, and here's what I hear, but I covered my cost. That's the dumbest answer in the history of the world. You didn't make any money on it? Well, I kept my people employed. Another dumb answer. It's in today's society, I might come across as heartless, but business owners are refusing to make really hard decisions for a multitude of reasons. And I'm not telling you to go fire all of your people. I'm just saying that you have to look at every part of your business and look at it and go, okay, do I get paid? Am I willing to take the hit? Do I have any money in the bank? Does the business have any savings? And then you have to look at all your expenses. Well, January's coming. Selling more solves a lot of problems, but selling more with no profit doesn't. So how do we set up some more sales? Well, now you got to back into it. What's your marketing plan for December? Right? You're a marketing expert. What is your marketing plan? How are you going to plan out starting in December or even November? Black Friday's coming, right? How do we start that plan process forward? Because if you don't, and again, here's another methodology. We saw it hugely in COVID when economic indicators shifted. We saw a huge influx of people going, well, I'm just going to cancel all my marketing. That's an expense I don't need right now.
That's the biggest mistake you do.
Exactly. I mean, you've got hundreds of marketing books and different business books. Not one of them says quit, right? Target offer copy. Who is your target market? How are you going to talk to them? What's your offer? What's the copy? How are you going to write it up? It's so funny. We work with a lot of coaches and consultants. Like we coach coaches and consultants to build a seven-figure, to build their business, right? Because we've been successful at building a seven-figure business, a very profitable seven-figure business. But one of the things we always hear is, well, that didn't work. Well, what didn't work? Well, I put some marketing stuff out there and it didn't work. So, I'm going to be a generalist. Wrong answer.
What does that mean, to be a generalist?
They want to have the same message
that everybody else is doing?
No, yeah, that and on every platform. They want to have the same marketing message because they're super smart, and they want to put the same marketing message on, X and
like LinkedIn is different. The messaging on LinkedIn is a different target audience.
Exactly, because you're a marketing expert. You know how to target people, but when they look about, well, that didn't work. Well, was your target wrong? Was your copy wrong? Or was your offer wrong? You cannot speak to business owners today that are in their startup phase or in their 20s and 30s like you would speak to another business owner who's in his 40s, 50s, or 60s. But that's what they do. Or they just cut it out completely. Well, it didn't work. I'm not going to do it anymore. And business owners do the same thing. Well, I need a social media. Great. My sister, my daughter, my blah, blah, blah is really good at Facebook. I'm going to hire her.
It all comes to the planning, as you said. We deal with a lot of clients that they have no foundation, they have no plan. And for example, the plumber guy doesn't need X. Well, you need an X for plumber guy, You need like a Facebook, which is more household. The pipes is broken. Winter is coming. What is special? You have a lot of other stuff. But one of the biggest things that we see is people, they want to plan things before cutting the cost. Oh. Like especially in restaurants, they don't go and actually say, how can I cut down my costs? At the same time, I can add more value for whatever I do. They don't cutting the cost. Yeah. They increase the price of their menu. Can you believe it?
Well, I look at both ends of it. Doesn't mean you have to do one. Do them both. Cut your cost, raise your price, add value, make more money. But it's like you said, but again, that's what we see. And and it's so interesting. There's companies that have marketing departments. That's wonderful. But there are different needs today, from Facebook to X to Twitter, or Twitter and X are the same thing now. Who? I mean, seriously.
Yeah, I'm still confused.
Just for a minute here. Who would take a name brand recognizable company and change the flickant name of it? I mean, I'm trying to keep this one clean. I mean, seriously, now we changed it to X. What?
Yeah, every time you say it, I remember that movie, X, whatever it was, XXX, like the movie, the action
but it's
movie.
but you had a brand recognition. Sorry, I'm on a tangent now. But that's okay.
It doesn't make sense.
He has way more money than I do. Okay, yeah. He obviously is a rocket scientist, so he's probably really smart and smarter than me. But not everybody has the money to burn to just, hey, I'm going to change the name. But folks that have a business that maybe under $1 million.
Coca-Cola changed the name.
Yeah, okay. Coke Zero, right? Diet Pepsi, whatever. Anyway, we could run down that rabbit hole a long time. But you and I, we don't have that kind of money that we can just throw away at things.
You get up in the morning and say, hey, guys, let's change the name. Let's change the direction.
Because we have it. But think about it. So that trickles down.
Everything.
Oh, yeah. People like, oh, my gosh, Amazon does it. Walmart does it. Nike does it. McDonald's does it. Chick-fil-A does it. So I should be able to do it. And I always laugh. I'm like, they have way more brains. Maybe they don't have more brains, but they have a lot more people that do the work and get it. So back on the marketing thing, we talked about first thing, operational effectiveness plan. Right? What are we going to do? If you want more sales, you got to back into it with a marketing plan. And not just what the month marketing is, but what's your 12-month marketing plan? So when I'm speaking today, I just want you guys to know for definition purposes, when I talk about annual planning, I'm talking about 12 full months of a marketing plan, 12 full months of a sales plan, 12 full months of an organizational plan.
And tweaking and adjusting it as you go.
As you have to, right? I mean, it's so interesting. In our business, we have not always been successful. In our business,
either,
Well, sometimes you run out of money, right? Growth patterns cost money. And then you take your eye off one subject, and then it costs you a lot of money, and then you have to cut expenses, and then you have to start over.
But I can tell you that, as you said, the planning and then execution and consistency.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, my God. That consistency, man.
I always tell people, in the planning process, it's movement plus momentum, or times momentum, right? Do something, you gain momentum, times consistency equals manifestation, exponential growth, or success.
Wow, I love that.
Yeah, but you got to start somewhere.
Yeah, that's the problem.
It is the problem.
We're just waiting for the last moment that we are really losing everything.
Or I don't have time to plan. That's one of my favorite things. Really?
I called you, not like months ago, and I said, hey, Andy, we got this problem. What we're going to do? And you guided us, told us all the planning, everything is. But if I would wait for the last minute, I wouldn't probably not be sitting here. It's just...
It's hard. People... So many of us, we get stuck in our own ways and like it's just going to work itself out. And I'm not.
And I know that everything. That's another thing.
Yeah.
I know it all.
Me too. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
No, it's funny. Just a quick segue into that I know mindset. It was interesting. I was just at a place today that we've done an enormous amount of leadership coaching with. And one of the people in the organization, the third in command basically got put in timeout, basically got demoted out of his position. And that was a year ago, something like that, 11 months ago, whatever it was. And he's been promoted back up. And I saw him today. And as I was talking to him, I congratulated him on his identity shift. And it was really interesting because he was like, you can't take this dog out of the fight. And I laughed. I'm like, I'm going to call BS. You've had a massive identity shift. You just can't see it because you're sitting in it. And so most of us are 50-year-old corpses walking around because we refuse to learn.
You're absolutely right.
And this gentleman in his 40s owned his mistakes, had a massive shift, and he's on his way back up the ladder again. All of us have those capabilities. In planning, just because you haven't done it, I'm not going to shame, guilt, or judge you. I'm going to give people shit on this because I can. But when we're talking to you or any other business owner, my job is not shame, guilt, or judgment. It's not my job.
It's just helping and building.
Yeah, it's okay. You don't have a plan yet. Great. We're going to start today. Right, we're gonna look at your history. Okay.
Like you're going to a rehab.
Yeah, exactly.
They're gonna not blame you. Oh, I was an alcoholic. Okay, that's why you were here. Okay, what are you gonna do? You're gonna change it, or you're gonna tell me every day that I used to be alcoholic?
I've never had those. I mean, I have as my wife and family would tell you, I have a very big obsessive compulsive personality. Like I get into something and I am 100% engaged and overboard on a lot of things. So I am thankful I've not had that. My addictions are caffeine. That is one of my huge addictions. I'm like, my coffee, I've got it. This is water. I'm stopping. But, I used to drink soda all the time.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. I was total addiction to Diet Pepsi. Can I say that?
Yes,
okay, just that's a plug for I was totally addicted to it. I love the stuff. And I just have had to slow that down. So I have an addictive OCD personality. So, but I've changed that, right? I've changed that. So in business, we
How did you do it?
Day by day, step by step.
Because we can apply that to anything.
Well, it's choices, right? I mean, think about it. How many of you guys love to hear the word diet?
Oh,
like
me too.
like I was.
Mine is a freaking sugar. It's just,
chocolate.
Oh
my
my
gosh,
God.
Jody, she bought candy for the kids and for Halloween, man. And once you start
You
that
had it
shit,
all.
man, I was in that bag like. She's like, "What are you doing?" I mean, it's choices, and I have discipline problems. But when it comes to business, of what we've been talking about here and being addictive, my addictive personality now is success. My addictive.
for your clients.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And for our business.
Yeah.
It was so interesting. Several years ago, we started talking about this dirty word. Because in society here, there are people on this call that are going to be all pissed off when I say this. But you as a business owner, every business owner out here, I firmly agree I'm a capitalist and you should make as much money as humanly possible. What you decide to do with it is up to you. Right? You want to give it to the government? Give it to the government.
That's fair enough.
If you want to give it to your employees, great. You want to spend it on a yacht? Okay, it's not my business. My job is to help you get there. Society today gets offended with that because
Why?
Well, think about
This
it.
is a fair statement.
Oh, not when you talk about redistribution of wealth. When you talk about those that have been suppressed or those that have been discriminated against, because it's out there. There's all of these things that are out there.
But we all capable of going out there, making money, do our thing. Like the reason I'm an immigrant, I came here, and the one thing I
We
love
couldn't tell
about
by your accent.
yeah, thank you. The one thing that I love about United States is the land of freedom, and do everything you want to do. Don't break the law, and stay in your lane. And you can make as much money you want and pay your taxes.
There's hundreds of millions of people out there that would argue with that fact that they have not had the same choices. And I'm not here to debate that. But when it comes to the word profit, everybody gets mad, especially when they look at things like right now, unions are a great thing. And we were joking around in here today, but like some of these larger unions like the UAW and what they're transforming today with GM, Ford, Chrysler, whatever the name of the company is, and agree and disagree. I honestly don't care. But you have to understand that a lot of these folks that are in those jobs, that's what the union's for. Okay? Now, if it works for the union, it does not necessarily work for other businesses here. And when you hear the word profit, you, whatever your business size is, struggling, making sure, paying taxes, have insurance, do all these things, people look at it and go, you're a business owner. You're probably screwing people because they see the model on the other hand from larger businesses. That is not the case with any business under $1 million. For that matter, that is not the case for most businesses under $5 to $10 million. They are giving back to their employees. Part of the planning process is determining your tax liability next year with growth. That is one of the major things that gets missed. So for a business owner, for every dollar, and I'm not going to have these exact because I'm not the CPA, but in theory, for every dollar you spend on an employee, you spend an additional 39 cents on other things, right? So you pay taxes on the money that you pay them. They pay taxes on the money you spend them. You pay them.
Double taxation.
Yeah. And then on top of that, if you offer, in some businesses that you offer benefits or 401k or things like that, well, that's an additional cost. Now, employees look at it from the point of, oh man, look at all the taxes they took out of it. So if a fully loaded employee could be about 139%, meaning you give them insurance and taxes and all these things. And I know that's not accurate for everybody, but let's just use that math equation for a second. So for every dollar, it's 39 cents more doing other things. The employee only sees, because the tangible is the dollar, right? You pay me $1 per hour to do X. We only see that. We don't see the other side of it. So when we start talking about profit, like, oh my gosh, or even creating an ESOP, or even creating an ESOP is an employee-owned corporation, or anything else like profit sharing. People always look at it as, well, look at all you're making. There are some perks to owning a business, right? You should be able to have profit in your business. But my point to all of that is, the employees of today, society of today, has trained people today that you're screwing them because you actually made money. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because you made profit.
Yeah, because you made profit, right? So maybe you risked everything, gave all of your 401k to put into the business, but they don't care. Now, why is that important to the planning process? Because when you're planning your business for growth, you have to plan what your tax liability is going to be so you can factor in your pricing correctly.
And I know some people, they're not doing that, and they end up paying taxes and say, why have to pay so much taxes? Because you didn't calculate your quarterly taxes, and you didn't actually pay your quarterly taxes, and you end up with a lump sum that some businesses, they go out.
Exactly. It is one of the common things, because planning is 100% inclusive of everything in your business. You can't leave things to chance. Right? Now, there's going to be people in this call, well, they're government, I don't want to give them. I want to give them as less as possible. Great. Talk to your CPA about that shit. But you still got to plan for it.
Anything.
You got to plan for that money. You got to set aside that money. The other part of planning going into this year is, what is your profitability factor and how much are you going to pay yourself off the top? Right?
They don't even, as you said, they don't even add their marketing budget as a 3 to 5%, or maybe maximum 7.5% of their budget into that. They're not actually calculating that.
They
just
guess.
winging it.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden they're out of money, or they're out of business.
And training, the same thing.
Oh,
part of the HR. Training and all that stuff, because our most important thing is a whole ecosystem that, as you said, the planning, it covers a lot of stuff.
If you do it right, it covers everything in your business. It allows you, so our process is, we start now. We start having clients gather data now. We meet November 30th, December 1st with all of our clients. It's a 2-day event. First day is education. We educate our clients on the 10 subjects that they wanted. 3 on finance, 3 on team, 3 on time, 1 on nonprofits, not 3 on time, finance, marketing, time, team, and 1 on nonprofits, right? So we have that education part on day 1, and on day 2, we bring them into the room and we start the planning process. We take them through this entire process to help them start planning. And then the month of December, they keep building out their plan, because it takes that long, and people have to schedule, right? They have to make time. I love that. Well, I don't have any time. Well, why does he always have time to do it over, but you don't have time to do it right? It's poor choices.
We all have 24 hours.
Yeah, so we plan, and then we come back on January 4th, the first Wednesday, or January 3rd, I can't remember what it is this year, but it's the first Wednesday of 2024. We take all of the data that we've gained in the process, and then we take the 13 to 27 most important, highest value, highest return on time for their business, and then we plug them into the first quarter. And so every week, a business owner has, in their team, not just them, their team, delegation, they have the strategies they have to work on during that week. So they know specifically, I'm working on this in my business. That's what I was talking about with focus, addictive personality. What needs to be done?
And improvement.
Yeah. And again, when you start doing that, now you start doing that 1% changes every day. 1% changes every week. And now you all of a sudden, now you have, I need to work on this for an hour today, and I need to work on it an hour tomorrow, and now I have blocked off 2 hours because I've got to get this done. And yes, it's a pain in the ass to have to schedule things. But when you get it done, it's like, oh, look at the exponential effect it has on my business.
Because some business owners and business people, the way they think, I open the shop, I go work, pay the employees, sell my stuff, close the shop, go home.
Yeah.
I'm serious. A lot of people think like that. Every business says they don't even really analyze it as a entity, as an organization, that a lot of moving parts are involved.
Oh, absolutely. They look at it as their own personal checkbook. They think the business is an entity. You are a human being. If you can't separate those two, that's where we start having challenges. Because when something goes wrong in your personal life, it affects the business. And when it goes wrong in the business, it affects your personal life.
Yeah, I was doing a consulting many years ago for the restaurant, and they had a partner. One partner was putting everything in the business. The other partner didn't know that. And, we audited the CPA and said, we got $100,000 here, expenses of gas, grocery, all that stuff. What is this? And the important part was that they cut their marketing budget. I'm sure you see this all the time.
Every day. They run the business as a leisure business, we call it, checkbook business. They run everything through it because their brother, sister's cousin read somewhere or heard part of a tax code that they should just put all of it into the business.
And then when you confronted them, what is their reaction?
It's my business. It's none of your business. You are one check cashing away from an audit there, brother. One. That's no fun either. The IRS, it's so funny. In one of the chapters of my book.
And when the book is coming out again? For
January 1.
January 1.
January 1.
Tell him a little bit right now, before I forget. Andy is going to tell you about his new book, which is, I love the title. We're going to talk about that. How did you come up with the freaking title?
I honestly, that's funny.
It's just funny story, guy.
Okay, so I grew up in a family-owned and operated business. I've got a merit badge and all the things you're not supposed to do as a son. And then, I left that business. My coaching career has been made by helping family-owned business. A lot of it's from my own errors. I mean, let's just be honest. I was a 23 loudmouth jackass. That's in the book, but it's in there. So as I've gone through this, about 8 years ago, I asked my clients, if I was going to write a book, what should I write it on? And then I froze, and they all sent me back, these are the things that I've learned. So as I went through, I had an entire note on titles of chapters that they wanted me to write. And then I froze and put it away. Life, I was a chicken shit, number of things that I just didn't get it written. So anyway, we took all of that stuff, and I'm kind of a smart ass. And I was joking with Jody one day, and I just said, what WTF was I thinking? And she was like, just a minute. She went in her office, and she typed some stuff up. And the title of the book is
amazing.
The title of the book is Family Business. WTF was I thinking? Right? And it's just the journey that I have watched people go through, the successes, the challenges. And so that's how the title came up. Because, I work with my wife, I work with my son, I work for my dad and my aunt and uncle. It's just one of those things that I say. And everybody that reads the title or I've shown it to is just like, amen. That is the truest statement ever.
It resonates with a lot of people.
Absolutely.
Especially in family business.
Exactly. So that's how the title came about. And I talk to a lot of people like, oh, you can't say those things. You can't put it in a title. You're going to alienate people. And I went to a publisher here in Austin, Atmosphere Press. They are a client of ours, Nick Courtwright. If you guys need a publisher, great. And we started having these conversations. Now, mind you, the book was at editing before we picked a title. We did not have a title. We didn't have a title till about 2 months ago.
Wow.
And so after going back and forth with their editing team and them talking to me, and you've probably heard it here, I kind of speak freely, there were a lot of people who wanted to edit the book based on their politically correct version of how they wanted to live. And these were the first people that were just like, we need to write this in your voice. So we went back and edited back to the original edits in the way I was speaking in the book. And so the title was a natural then.
And it's coming out in the paperback and Amazon.
Yep, it'll be out. We haven't got all those done. Obviously, we'll have the website. There'll be calls to action in the book, but it'll be available on Amazon. It'll be available at andyobrien.biz. We'll have the book available. If you're already a client, you'll get your first copy signed. You'll get one too.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
But I'm excited for it. I've had a lot of good response.
How you feel, that you did, and you said you were a chicken shed, and now, you went and did it, and you done, and you said, okay, I did this. How you feel?
I'm not going to lie to you. I'm still a little nervous because I've only had a few people. I mean, we've had 10, 12, 15, 20 people read it, right?
How was the feedback?
It was really positive.
Really?
But I'm paying all these people, so I'm not gonna lie. I'm scared to death of the reaction. My head goes to, did I get an equation wrong? I've checked, I've back checked, we've edited, we've re-edited, and I'm just waiting for the pukers and the doubters to come up. The trolls that I made a mistake in it. But at the end of the day, I'm pretty excited about it because if that book goes to one family that is struggling on how to create,
that's what you need.
It creates some boundaries or create a process or to put an org chart or actually to get their family business online. And I mean online, like out of the, hey, Thanksgiving is a board meeting. Christmas is a board meeting. Easter's a board meeting. Oh, our birthday's a knockdown, drag-out fight. The goal is to get it in front of people so they have tools so that they can take their family business to the next level.
But right now, we're getting close to Thanksgiving, December, and a lot of family, it, I know it, they say, I'm going to tell my loved ones during holiday, we're going to have discussion, we're going to start everything new in 2024, all this stuff, which is, I believe, but I don't think so. We have to wait for the specific month or the day. Like you said, I want to start planning the end of the year. No, you got to start planning the first of the year or whatever. There's no timing, don't you think?
No, you can't start planning for January in January.
Yeah,
that's the dumbest shit I hear all the time.
That's I hear it too, yeah.
Like, oh, we're going to plan. Well, you can't plan when you're in the fight, right? Planning is before the fight.
Well, how we plan our like you had this experience, I had it. We're going to go from here to Los Angeles. We usually get our flight, we plan it, we go to the hotel, we do all this. Oh, we're going to go to this. Oh, how we do that, what we cannot do in business.
Because
this
people,
is so interesting.
Yeah, but people think I'll plan a trip. I'll plan all that shit, but my business, it's so stressful. My business is different. No, it's not any different. The principles of business are the same.
It doesn't matter what you do.
It doesn't matter what you do.
Freelancer, you are the entrepreneur, you are a $10 million business, you are an SMB. You're right.
You have to have a plan. There may be different methodologies of how to plan in each business, but it's not different.
And you gave your clients, I know, planning, and some did not execute. After planning is execution. Am I right?
Yes.
And then when they do that, what's going to happen?
It's accountability. Look, ownership, accountability, responsibility, right? Ownership's today, accountability's the future. responsibilities the past. None of us can change our past. Just because you don't execute perfectly doesn't mean you're not succeeding. Doing something
is better than nothing.
Better than nothing. Do something and it's wrong. Make a mistake. Okay.
I love
Don't
that.
make the same mistake 3 times. Make it once and go, okay, is this the right choice? Mistake number 2 of the same subject. Okay, we need to modify. That's why budgeting takes so long. It's because there's no perfect science for everybody. And I'm not a forensic financial actuary, right? These guys are pretty damn good. Those guys can do it. Most CPAs don't even plan their own business.
Wow.
Oh yeah, they crack me up. They're hypocrites. Some of them are. We laugh all the time. I've worked with several CPA firms. They tell people what to do, but then they don't do it in their own business.
Like a doctor that he's a smoker, but he said don't smoke.
Yeah, that's right.
I know one.
Those are my favorite. Like, hey, yeah, I always love it. This was one of my pet peeves. Like when I was in high school and college and all that, I remember the cross-country coach was like 300 pounds. Oh, you got to do this. You got to do that. Dude, you can't even run to the shitter and make it. Stop telling me what to do.
Yep.
Right? It's and we have those in our own coaching practices, right? We have people in our own world that tell us what to do, but they don't do. We are helping you plan because we plan. We're good at it. We execute well. We have team members that play to our weaknesses as owners to fill in the gaps. Yes, they cost money up front, but in 60 days, they pay for themselves. In 90 days, they pay for themselves. Planning takes time. And if you've never done the planning, come see us. We'll walk you through it step by step.
Yeah, that's what you always tell me, and I have sent people to you that you even talked to them over the coffee, and you just kind of went over their planning and you give them your honest feedback.
Yeah, it's interesting. Sometimes our coach has his foot firmly planted up my ass because, again, get rid of the I know mindset.
Oh, my God.
But he reminded me the other day, nice, right? Part of our rituals is nice. Nice stands for nothing inside me cares enough to lie to you about your business. And I've had several of those honest conversations just in the last 6 to 8 weeks, just with people. It's like nobody can manage a business if they don't have optics. Planning is about financial optics. Planning is about marketing optics, standards, every freaking hour of every day. Marketing is not just throw shit against the wall and hope it sticks. It has to be deliberate today.
And the strategize, yeah.
Yeah. Sales, same thing. We must have a sales plan. We must have outcomes and key results. Operational, right? For those of you that have operations in your business, and maybe it's manufacturing, maybe it's restaurant, maybe it's people, right? We still have to have a plan that allows them to be successful.
The business is not going to run by itself.
Yeah, and my favorite one is people are like, when do you have to hire that next employee? Well, we're not going to worry about that till the time. Okay, that's like trying to bake a cake after the box is in the oven. You've got to plan for people. If you hit your marketing goals and you hit your sales goals, and then you have revenue, and then you're looking at profitability, and then all of a sudden you have all this work. Okay, what's the next person? What is the next person you have to hire? When would you like to hire that one? Okay, maybe it's June, maybe it's May. I don't care what the date is, but you have to put a plan in place to hire the people. Because if you have services or equipment, you're going to plan that. Oh, I need to buy a new truck. I need to buy a new skid loader. I need to buy a new copier, printer, computer. I don't care what it is. All of that gets in your plan, but we forget to plan to hire people. But if you
the right people.
If you plan to hire somebody, then you can work that into the plan. So that also goes into your financial mastery of your business.
That's, it seems like complicated. Actually, it's not very complicated. It's just following the process.
Absolutely.
It's one step at a time.
And that's what we walk people through because it can be overwhelming. Most people, I call it a credenza plan. or a napkin plan. Their business plan, have you got a business plan? Oh, yeah, I wrote one. It's still good. It's 12 years ago. How's it still good? It's obsolete. If you haven't looked, and then when's the last time you looked at it? Like 12 years ago?
And most of the business people don't understand it's a constant improvement.
Oh.
It's constant. I love these Japanese people and the Japanese philosophy.
Oh,
Kaizen?
Kaizen?
The Kaizen, yeah. And
brilliant.
That brilliant, like constant and never-ending improvement. Every day you can tweak things. You can improve things. Like in our studio here, we change things based on our set every day, how it's going to impact the shoot, how it's everything, in our work. But it's not easy. It's not hard. It's a constant moving.
And if you don't constantly move, you die. Right. Absolutely.
If you don't move, you die. I always say that. If you don't move, you die.
Yeah. It's so interesting. Every time I talk to the founder of our Action Coach franchising company, the guy's brilliant. I mean, every time I talk to him, it's like, oh, I didn't even think of that. Because he's always learning. His creativity gene. Oh, and by the way, his name's Brad Sugars. He's got 19 books, owns our company, owns multiples. But the point being is that if you're not open to learning from those around you.
Oh, my God, that's so important.
It has to be. I mean, I was giving crap earlier, but, it's funny how we have these conversations. But what you can pick up from a 20-something person, like, oh, that's a great perspective.
Oh, yeah.
It's just we have to as a business owner and planning, if we are not open to opportunities, we will never get ahead.
I absolutely agree with you. You got to be really open to opportunities and the feedback and just take it.
Yeah.
Take it, analyze it, eat it, whatever you want to do. Just do something.
Yeah, don't take it personally.
It's not personal.
Yeah, it's just business.
Like today you walk into my office and you say you're going to move your desk.
Well,
No, you're right, because everyone walks into it. I have a tendency, and you are absolutely right.
You're so friendly.
Yeah,
you're not going to throw somebody out.
And then in 30 minutes I'll be chatting, talking, and oh shoot, I didn't do this. But if I go middle of the floor or somewhere and I kind of not hide myself, but kind of create that space, I think that's going to work much better.
Well, you, as an owner of the business, you are kind, generous. And you always are, you're going to talk to people no matter what. That's in your genetics. My entire principle is just to move you away from the door because, again, that's what your team's for.
Yep.
Your team is qualified. Your team is exceptional. And if they need you, they can get you.
Come and grab me, yeah.
Yeah, but it's not like you're going to be in a different building. It's just going to move you 15 feet so that their first line of defense is have one of your team members take care of a customer.
And the 15 feet sometimes will make a $15,000 difference.
Could make it, yeah, absolutely. Then you'll stay focused on, instead of getting distracted from a client doing all your editing and building websites and all your digital stuff. I mean, your brain power needs to be focused on that. And yes, you deal with the customers, but it's just...
Little tiny adjustments.
I'm just trying to get you some space so you can have that creative gene.
And I love that. That's what I'm saying. People, they have to be open to this. And this is the biggest things, even in a marriage, in partnership, in relationships. If you're not open to feedback and you don't want to listen, why the heck are you asking for somebody's feedback? I'm serious. Have you heard that situation?
Oh my gosh! Because
hey Andy, give me a feedback, and you tell him and say, "No, you're wrong."
Yeah,
you asked me to give you a feedback.
Exactly. And sometimes when people ask me for feedback after the first time, I'm like, "Well, the last time I gave you feedback, you gave me a bunch of shit. So, are you open to it or are you not? Because if you're not open to it, doesn't matter."
But folks, if you have any questions and you want to know more about Andy, what Andy does, which is phenomenal, can help you a lot, and we are here. Just how they can reach out to you, Action Coach.
Yeah, they can reach out to me at andyobrien@actioncoach.com. If you're a private person and you want a private one-off, when you email me, my assistant has complete access to my email system, and she can get you scheduled. We can do a quick 20-minute introductory call, and then we can set up a 45-minute to an hour get-together, and we can talk about trust and rapport. And I take my job as seriously as any accountant or attorney.
And, as all of you know that in my show, I'm not selling anything. We are just trying to create value for our listeners, for our viewers. That's why all these guests that come into the show, they want to create value, and there are people that they're giving with no expectation, just helping you out, because we all, at the end of the day, are humans under one planet, and we all go to the same shed every day. And
Amen.
We need to help one another. That's the thing that we need more love. But thank you, Andy. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it, man.
Oh, thanks for having me. I love this platform.
You add so much value to our audience.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
As always. Thank you, brother.
Awesome.